Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today online at Action Island to Redress 1219. This channel has been holding a series of forums to talk about the Tai Ji Men case, which is marked as 2 to 8 incident of legal taxation in Taiwan, as well as an internationally exemplary and important case by scholars and experts. More and more testimonies and stories behind this case are coming forward in recent times, and you may get more understanding about the systematic problems in Taiwan through this 25-year-long persecution. Today's topic, Justice is Conscience, is actually a quote from Aleksandr Solzinehsionhen, a Russian novelist, philosopher, historian, and he is also the Nobel Prize Laureate in Literature in 1970. He said to his students that justice is conscience, not a personal conscience, but the conscience of the whole humanity. And those who clearly recognize the voice of their own conscience usually recognize also the voice of justice. This quote will explain the truth of this 25-year-long fighting on human rights, while Tai Ji Men, shifu, and dizi never stopped the journey on promoting love, peace, and conscience in the world. This quote also clearly indicates a miserable result caused by rough bureaucrats, those who exercise the public power without following the rule of law and without following the conscience. This is very, very dangerous for a democratic country. Before we get started today, I will introduce a video. You may get more insights on the truth and the symbolic meaning of Tai Ji Men case from the international perspective.
I am interested as a sociologist of religion who's been studying new religions in why people think that they ought to be singled out, and was Tai Ji Men seen as a cult, and how did they differ from other Qigong groups? Former legislator Miss Xu made it absolutely clear to me that there was nothing special about Tai Ji Men that would make them subject of such treatment. They were irrelevant almost. It was the tax office that I needed to understand. But I also now realize that there is actually something special about Tai Ji Men. They're what my grandmother, who was a sort of fierce Scot, would call bloody-minded. They're not going to give up. They're gutsy. They're uncompromising. They're fighting not just for their own rights, but also for those of others, for Taiwan, and for the belief in the abstract concept of human rights, trying to make sure that it's a concrete reality that can be enjoyed throughout the world. Thank you, Tai Ji Men. Good luck. Don't give up.
Without observance and adherence to the rule of law, then we have lawlessness. And that is what happened, in my opinion, in the Tai Ji Men tax case. I have studied the Tai Ji Men tax case for many years. I've read many documents related to the Tai Ji Men tax case. And I believe that I have not seen more abuse of power than I have in the Tai Ji Men tax case. And when government officials abuse power, it affects not only the victims of that abuse, but it affects all of us, because that means that the rule of law is not being followed. And that falls on all of us, whether the direct targets of that abuse or not.
They have been taught never to compromise, whatever the price to pay. Integrity, dignity, respect, compassion, love, and peace are at the heart of their values and of their lives. But some people and institutions have shamelessly violated their human rights to justice. The dizis are the best ambassadors of Tai Ji Men's teachings to the outside world because they are the living testimonies that their spiritual values can regenerate individuals and society. This is a major contribution of Tai Ji Men to the spread of human rights in Taiwan. This is also a precious asset for the Taiwanese society and the image of the country abroad. But the National Taxation Bureau and its ally, prosecutor who, nicknamed the judicial Rambo, stubbornly remain deaf to their call for justice.
They claim that for 1992, the appeal terms had expired. But of course, there is no appeal term when decisions are grossly unjust. They can always be revised. In conclusion, what is happening now? Now the tax office is insisting with its bill for 1992 and threatens to seize properties of Tai Ji Men and auction them, which will cause enormous harm to Tai Ji Men and to freedom of belief. It's not about money. Tai Ji Men has spent more in legal expenses than what will pay if they pay the tax bill for 92. It's about principle. They didn't commit any wrongdoing and they don't want to admit this. It will be false.
L'affaire Tai Ji Men a révélé les failles fondamentales de l'État, de droit et la façon dont le pouvoir de l'État a été détourné ou même abusé. Les représentants du gouvernement ont violé de nombreuses dispositions de procédure régulière dans l'affaire Tai Ji Men. Taïwan a gagné la sympathie de nombreux pays et organisations dans le monde pour la défense des droits démocratiques en Asie de l'Est et la gestion transparente et efficace de la crise du Covid-19. Il est grand temps que cette vieille situation soit résolue en garantissant aux membres de Tai Ji Men leurs droits humains et leur dignité et leur liberté de religion.
I think that we should all stand by Tai Ji Men because, again, as the video brilliantly said, the battle of Tai Ji Men is the battle for the most important, most essential human right, religious freedom, is the battle for freedom, is the battle for liberty, is the battle for justice, it is the battle for equal treatment of all before the law.
The scholars and experts really hit the nail on the head. They precisely point out the core and nature of this case, also its significance in the history of Taiwan's human rights development and transitional justice. As Macro said, the battle of Tai Ji Men is the battle for human rights and is the battle for justice. Today we will be focusing not only on the case itself, but the testimonies and experiences of the dizis. So let's welcome our first speaker, Ayla. As teacher, she'll be sharing with us her experiences and opinions.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayla and I'm a teacher. Today I'm here to share as a Tai Ji Men dizi. As an educator, I value more on honesty and attitude of learning than grades. I'm thankful to grow up in a positive environment so that I know that these are the most important things for my students. Knowledge is indispensable for living, but integrity leads a long way. As I mentioned, I grew up in a positive environment. I practiced Qigong with my family at Tai Ji Men at very young age. My shifu teaches me the philosophy of life, which is to tell the right from wrong and true from false. And these are also the most essential values in personality education. Unfortunately, while we teachers are working so hard to educate the future generations to be honest and kind, our government is showing us a completely opposite example by abusing its power against the rule of law in the Tai Ji Men case. As Professor Kenneth Jacobson mentioned earlier, Tai Ji Men case is a persecution. Why? It is because the government officials are afraid and refuse to admit their own mistakes. The National Taxation Bureau corrected the tax amount on the red envelopes for the year of 1991 to 1996 to zero, except for the year of 1992. Since 1992 is no different from all other years, it should be corrected to zero as well, based on the principle of fairness and equity. These illegal government officials should know that what they are doing right now is poisoning our future generations. They have damaged the rule of law and the people's trust to the government. How could a country be strong if its people no longer trust its own government? Every time when I see my students, I really hope every one of them will be a good person when they grow up. So we, as grown-ups, should build them a safe and healthy country, but not a country full of lies and injustice. The Supreme Court has found Tai Ji Men not guilty of tax evasion or a violation of tax codes. Therefore, the National Taxation Bureau must fix its illegal tax bill immediately and follow the rule of law. Only in this way can justice be prevailed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayla. Education affects every aspect of our lives and exists in many forms on our life journey. We do hope the government really plays a demonstrative educational role to correct these mistakes to form a culture of integrity, honesty, and conscience. Next, we would like to welcome Sherry. She's going to share a personal entire journey in the Tai Ji Men case. Welcome, Sherry. She's going to share a personal entire journey in the Tai Ji Men case.
Hello, I'm Sherry. In December 1996, during the frenzy of Taiwan's religious crackdown, it was common to see social news on TV every day about some religious groups being investigated by a prosecutor. As the prosecutor Ho Kwan-ren led the media to report the news every day, the public followed such news report as if they were watching a series. On December 19, 1996, when the news broke about the unjust case of Tai Ji Men, my family and I looked at each other and thought, aren't our neighbors upstairs members of Tai Ji Men? But the family is so kind and charitable. The youngest daughter also grew up with me, and we coincidentally got into the same university. How such good people were cheated. I couldn't help but feel sorry for them, but also had a question mark about this place, Tai Ji Men. When I went to school the next day to ask for her opinion, she was as confident and sunny as ever. She said she believed in her shifu and knew what Tai Ji Men was doing, and asked us not to listen to the media. In 2000, we were both studying in the eastern part of the United States. When I visited her in New York that summer, I attended a United Nations event with her and learned that Shifu of Tai Ji Men was also a leading member of a United Nations nonprofit organization. At that event, I joined a group of Tai Ji Men dizis dressed in white, who were also United Nations volunteers, to hand out leaflets and preach love and peace to foreigners. I felt an indescribable sense of peace and joy. In the past, I thought love and peace were just slogans, but from that event, for the first time, I believe that love and peace come from practical work. There is always hope if you are carrying it out. I couldn't help but exclaimed, how international Tai Ji Men is. I was invited by her to attend 3 seminars held by Tai Ji Men and had a clear answer in my mind. It turned out that Tai Ji Men is a bright and positive place, and that the dizis taught by shifu are also able to give people confidence and hope. So we shouldn't listen to false media reports. Therefore, I decided to give myself a different chance in my life to become a dizi. Originally, I thought that Qigong is only to practice the body, and then under the guidance of shifu, I realized the benefits of Qigong on the body, mind, and spirit. Only when the body, mind, and spirit are in balance can a person achieve real health. Not only that, I realized that the meaning of life is not to be good alone, but to be good to you, to me, and to everyone, so that the world will be really good. Just like the current pandemic, there is no such thing as if one person is well, one is well. Only when everyone is well and free of the pandemic can the world be truly free from the fear of the pandemic. To achieve such a state is to awaken the conscience of everyone. Shifu has led us to visit 101 countries around the world, to launch the Age of Conscience movement, and to continue to preach love and peace, in the hope that we can find Noah's Ark for our souls in these troubled times, so that the world and the environment can achieve sustainable peace. However, my husband, who was affected by the December 19 incident, thought that Tai Ji Men was a cult and didn't want me to join me as a dizi. Nor did he want me to go to Tai Ji Men for practicing Qigong. He didn't want me to take the children to that place after I had children. I knew that it was a good place, but had to bear the subsequent adverse effects of the December 19 incident, which cast a shadow over such a good group and blocked my path to practice Qigong with my family. One man's mistake has affected the whole country. When I was a child, I always thought that the government was right and that it was for the good of the people. Because of this case, I deeply feel that the government has been manipulated by a few people and is unable to protect the people. In order to awaken the conscience of a few unscrupulous officials, I grasped the short break during my busy work and life to run around day and night with other defenders of legal tax justice by pulling banners, holding signs, protesting, and distributing leaflets regardless of the sun, rain, and the cold wind. We have been trying to find ways within the governmental system and to seek support outside the system, and even hope to have a tax human rights reform in Taiwan to address the plight of the individual tax victims who share the same plight as Tai Ji Men. Because of love, we bravely insist on doing the right thing. However, 25 years have passed. Taiwan's tax authority has wasted countless public funds, huge administrative resources, judicial resources, and social costs on illegal taxation because a few officials have been unwilling to admit their mistakes. It's been 25 years. Do we want to continue to watch these officials violate human rights, harm Taiwan's democracy, and hinder Taiwan's economic growth? We can't wait for another 25 years. We hereby solemnly call on the Taiwanese authorities to rectify this mistake immediately, to return justice to Tai Ji Men, and to uphold the taxation justice of people. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. What impressed me the most is that this case blocked her path to practice Qigong with her family And we can see how a citizen's basic rights were seriously violated by a prosecutor. One person's mistake has effect not only on the spiritual group, but the whole country, and the price is invisible. Without conscience, a government official will not only destroy a person's life, but damage the stability of a society. Next speaker is another teacher, Yaggie. She's going to share her story along with an inspiring short tale. Let's welcome her.
Hi, everyone. Good day. My name is Yaggie. When I was a kid, I liked to ride my bike around the village. At the village entrance, there were several electric poles with the poster that said, "There will be a trial after death." I was so shocked when I saw it for the first time. I realized that one should not act arbitrarily. My grandmother always told me, "There is a God in the 3 feet of our hand." In my grandmother's funeral ceremony, there is also a picture of the 18 layers of hair, so that I had a ruler for my conscience since I was young. When I was in college, I was fortunate enough to join the Tai Ji Men Academy, where the shifu, Dr. Hong Daozhi, always guide us to distinguish between right and wrong, truth and fallacy. His advice keep my heart moving toward the path of conscience of right and truth. Words of a man on his deathbed always come from the heart. The last tax collector Si Yuesheng was interviewed by a reporter when he discovered his conscience at the end of his cancer. It was shockingly revealed that Ho Kwanden, who is currently the deputy director of the Independent Commission Against Corruption in the Ministry of Justice, was the originator of the 25-year Tai Ji Men fake case. Si Yuesheng pointing out that this case was led by Ho Kwanden, and the Bureau of Investigation cooperated with Ho Kwanden to fight him for false testimony. The video confirmed that the 1996 Tai Ji Men case was a fake case that was created out of nothing, and that Ho Kwanden, in connection with the Bureau of Investigation and the tax authorities, used public power to infringe on human rights, not only framing the Tai Ji Men shifu and dizis for 25 years, but also seriously undermining the rule of law in Taiwan, which is a scourge to all people and a lefty stock internationally. I would like to take a moment to introduce a short tale about the literary scholar Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
Rousseau, a famous French thinker and literary scholar, recorded the following incident in his Confessions. When Rousseau was a child, his family was very poor. He went to a count's house to work as a servant to make a living. One of the count's maids had a beautiful little ribbon which was very pleasing to the eye. One day, Rousseau took the little ribbon from the maid's bed when no one was around and ran out into the courtyard to play with it. At that moment, a servant walked behind him, found the little ribbon in Rousseau's hand, and immediately reported it to the count. The count was very angry. He called Rousseau to his side and questioned him sternly. Rousseau was nervous, thinking that if he admitted that he had taken the ribbon, he would be dismissed, and even more difficult to find a job in the future. He stammered for a long time and finally lied that the ribbon had been stolen by the little cook Marion. The count is half convinced and asked Marion to come and confront him. The good, honest little Marion was dumbfounded by this. While she wept, she said that, "Not me, never me." Rousseau was determined to rat out Marion and made up the so-called story of the incident. Now the Count was even more annoyed and simply dismissed Rousseau and Marion at the same time. When they left the Count's house, an elder said meaningfully, "One of you must be innocent, and the one who lies will surely be punished by their conscience." Sure enough, the incident brought Rousseau lifelong pain. 40 years later, in his autobiography, Confessions, he admitted, "This heavy burden had been weighing on my conscience, prompting my determination to write this confession. This painful memory often bothers me. When I was so troubled that I couldn't sleep, I saw this poor girl come to condemn me."
In their time, the loss of a job may be the loss of livelihood. So his lies brought great disaster to the little girl. The Tai Ji Men Case brought disaster to Tai Ji Men Dizis, their family, and to the world. My mother was proud of me when I was a child, but in those days, the daily bombardment of the media reporting Tai Ji Men as an evil girl made her worry about my safety and put her under invisible pressure. She died in fear and panic at the age of less than 60. My mother died young compared to my grandmother, who died of natural causes at the age of 94, and all my aunts, who are all over the age of 80. Every time I think about it, I feel regret, especially because similar stories have happened to many of my brothers and sisters. Many of my colleagues, shifu and shimu, around me are also getting older. The setup of Tai Ji Men branches around the world has been delayed for more than 25 years. The positive energy on Earth is not increasing, and the alarm of the end of time is resounding again and again. I wonder if Inspector Hokwiden, do you not have nightmare every night? Thank you for your listening.
A very heartfelt and heartbroken appeal from Yaggie. This reminds me of a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. There is a higher court than courts of justice, and that is the court of conscience. It supersedes all other courts. Actually, in 2002, the Control Yuan investigated To Kwan-ren's behavior during the Tai Ji Men case and concluded that he was guilty of 8 major violations of law. And the conclusion about To to the Ministry of Justice, which sent several letters to the High Prosecutor Office requesting the corresponding penalties be imposed. But the office disregarded the result of the Control Yuan's investigation. I think the way that officials stick up for and protect one another has got to stop. The real reformation should be based on the awakening of all citizens, all Taiwanese citizens. And last, we would like to welcome our final speaker, Isabella. She traveled to many countries with Dr. Han for cultural exchanges on the promotion of love and peace. Isabella, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm a teacher, and one of the most common things I do in my classes is to help my students discover their unique abilities, to encourage and guide them to develop and build their confidence. My students' parents always say that I'm the teacher who teaches with life and all of my heart. I have to say that it is all because of the teachings of my shifu, Dr. Hong, who cares for all of his dizis and their families with his life and all of his love for the country and the entire world. In Tai Ji Men, Shifu taught me to practice Qi and cultivate my heart, looking for the wisdom of Tai Ji yin and yang in life, and that the meaning of life is to help others and benefit all beings. My body and mind have improved, and as a result, my life has become more meaningful and exciting.
My entire family practices Tai Ji Men, including my parents in their 70s and 80s, but still in good health. I have had the pleasure of traveling to many countries around the world with shifu. When my colleagues, friends, and students' parents learn that I have traveled to 5 continents to share Chinese culture and promote love and peace, they're amazed and show me respect. I take great honor in this. It has been a valuable experience for me. I've met with many heads of states and impactful leaders from all over the world. I've also interacted with various NGO groups. I've witnessed many important people from home and abroad being encouraged and inspired by Dr. Hong's words of wisdom. I share my vision and the wisdom I have gained from my travels with my students. I do this to help them become better global citizens, caring more about world affairs and connecting them to the world around them. I'm grateful to my shifu because Tai Ji Men keeps me and my family healthy, happy, and safe. I understand that it is a blessing to learn and practice what we learn in life. It is extra rewarding to help others. The incumbent president and 3 former presidents of Taiwan, 6 vice presidents, 6 foreign ministers, and other leaders from different walks of life and various countries have highly praised Tai Ji Men for promoting the culture of conscience. It is unimaginable that such a good organization like Tai Ji Men has been persecuted for 20 years in Taiwan through both criminal and taxation measures. In 2007, the Supreme Court of Taiwan found Tai Ji Men not guilty of tax evasion or other charges. We finally got justice, having the illegal tax bill from the criminal case legally withdrawn. However, the illegal tax bills made out of thin air continue to plague Tai Ji Men. And Hou Kuanren, the deputy director of the Agency Against Corruption, is the primary perpetrator of Tai Ji Men's persecution. During the search on December 19, 1996, 2 bank statements show a balance of $22,000. However, the next day, a newspaper published that the master of Tai Ji Men had 11 million income from fraudulent acts and crime school tuition. Huang Kunguang, a 32-year veteran of Kaohsiung's Taxation Bureau, who specialized in tax fraud cases, said, "Imposing taxes based on imaginary data is absolutely against the principle that taxes should be imposed according to the law. No other nations that implement income taxes have this kind of practice." Former tax official Shi Yuesheng, who was seriously ill with cancer, finally agreed to an interview, revealing the truth that he was forced to cooperate with the persecution, confirming that Hou Kuanren pressured him to give false testimony and falsely accused Tai Ji Men of tax evasion. Kenneth Jackson, an advisor to former US President Clinton, who has studied the Tai Ji Men case for years, criticized Hou Kuanren's statement in media. Charging someone with keeping a goblin is not a proper legal procedure in a civilized society and should make people wonder if the persecutor is insane. On August 21st, 2020, Administrative Enforcement Agency illegally auctioned and confiscated Tai Ji Men's sacred land, even though we owe no taxes. I was shocked, angry, and disappointed that the evil actions of a few illegal bureaucrats have given the country a bad reputation for robbing people of their property, making it Taiwan's darkest day in human rights history. I agree with Professor Jacobson that what has happened in Taiwan has emerged from the conduct of some raw bureaucrats and government officials that is now being tolerated by the government itself. And that is shameful. So Please, President Tsai, have the government right past wrongs. It's been 25 years. It should come to an end right now. There is hope for our country and future generations with a conscience and good governance. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Isabel. I think the philosophy of Tai Ji Men culture brings a very positive influence on her for becoming a good teacher and a conscious defender at the same time. So we're going to conclude today's program with the song Human Rights for World Citizens. I believe that each and every one of us is important. While knowledge is power, action makes change. Thank you for watching today and see you next time.